All right, so I want to fast forward a little bit. So, your first experience in the courtroom as a young black attorney, obviously has its challenges. So, you want to talk about, if you remember, like, your very first day.
Oh, I remember.
What was it like?
First day I walked in, you got to sit down and wait for your attorney.
Facts. That's insane.
So I'm like, who are you talking to? He said, you. I said, why? So I'm a little bit of a rebel. Right? Just
Are
a
you?
little
To
bit.
say the least. Are you?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I looked at him like, please to get out of my face. Actually, that's probably said, get the hell out of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I said, don't you see this file? I'm here waiting on a client. That was my very first day
And
at
I'm
work.
guessing you weren't dressed in like, jeans.
No, I had on a suit.
Exactly. That was my experience. Like my experience
Even a
was,
judge did that to us.
How nice was the suit?
A judge did that to us.
Right. That was me too, though. So when I got there, obviously, I'm suit, tie, everything.
Suited up.
Wearing glasses, got my files in my hand, and I go and I sit down in the front row, right? Because why?
You're an attorney.
The sign says the front row is only for police officers and attorneys. So I sit in the front row. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for my case to be called, and a court officer says, you can't sit here. And I'm like, what you mean I can't sit here? It's like, no, this is only for attorneys and police officers. So now, there's two things, right? One, you calling me stupid.
Right.
Like, because I can't read. Like, I can't read the sign that's right in front of you. So
Right.
now you saying I can't read. I'm already offended. And two, clearly it's only for certain people of a certain
Or what you think.
Yeah,
Looks
exactly.
like an attorney or police officer.
officer. Right. So that was my experience, and that went on for several months.
Oh, yeah.
Until people got to know me.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And I think, like, for me personally, my first couple of months being an attorney was really hard, right?
It's
And
rough.
I was talking about this to a friend. I was actually on his podcast earlier this week. Shout out Two Black Boys podcast. I was on y'all. And we were talking about how basically there's something that black people do that's pretty much we're born with, and it's kind of like a code switch, like how you know how to talk to certain people, rather than how, you might talk to your friends or whatever. We're basically, and we don't even think about it, right? And but it's also like in the professional world where like you really have to just be careful of your emotions,
Yes.
of how you portray yourself. Now I could have changed the tone of my voice and said something just a little bit deeper than the way I said it. It's like, oh, what do you mean? I could have been like, what you mean? Something like that. And
It would have escalated.
exactly, it would escalate just on my body language, and it's something that, especially as a big black man, you got to be careful of when you're
Right.
around certain people. Like, and it's just something that no one taught me that. It's just something, but you know that, right? I'm sure you know that.
And we get called the angry black woman.
Exactly.
I didn't teach you that.
Sure seemed angry to me.
You want credit for that too? Okay. Nah, but like, listen, I don't remember you teaching it to me. How about that?
Probably by
he wasn't
example.
listening.
I wasn't.
He
You
wasn't
don't
listening.
listen.
I didn't listen all the time. You're right. But so it was just, it's a very different path than what other attorneys, white attorneys, have to deal
Yeah.
with, right?
First 6
'cause-
months were rough.
Right. Yeah. No one's really challenging the fact that you went to law school and you deserve to be there. So
It's like we
that was
passed the
really
same
rough.
bar exam.
Yeah. Exactly. So what about
I
you?
failed
You
the
remember?
first time.
I have so many instances. I feel like I got PTSD that they're merging together.
No, I agree.
That's real. Yeah.
The first time I don't recall, but I can tell you one time. I'm walking into the court, into the well to talk to a clerk, and I'm dressed up. And I think I look fantastic.
Of course you do.
Of
course you do.
I got a nice.
Today. Over.
You didn't compliment. You complimented me, man.
No,
I got a nice briefcase. I got a nice briefcase. It's shiny. It's new. My shoes are shiny. They're new. I'm fresh. Like, you know what I'm
you
saying?
fresh head to toe, right?
I'm fresh.
Right,
All
right.
right.
So I'm walking towards the clerk, and I had, step out the well. Step out the well.
They can't be talking to you.
Yeah. So I said, you, pointing at me, and I was like, so I immediately, I step out, and then I catch myself. I'm like, I'm an attorney.
doing? Yeah.
Like, and he's
What am
like,
I doing?
he's like, oh, it's let me see your ID.
All the
And I was
time.
like, okay, I show him my ID, and then he takes it from me, and he looks over it like,
Is
looks
it
at
real?
me,
real?
Right. Is
Looks
this
at
ID real?
goes, okay, next time you need to tell me. Like, okay. Meanwhile, I just saw a bunch of other people do the same thing
Right.
that I was
Nothing
trying
was
to do.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but you know what? Like, like back to my example. Like, he didn't ask for my ID. He didn't even ask me for my ID. He just assumed.
Oh, that's
He just
always the
assumed,
first thing. It's
right?
always
Like,
an
if you
assumption.
if you don't know, then just say, hey.
And that's my
Are
problem.
you an attorney?
Just
I've never seen you
ask.
here before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
ask.
You know, I've never seen you
I
here.
can respond with you saying, hey,
Yeah.
I've never seen you. Are you an attorney?
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
that's
answer
fine. I
that.
get
But
that.
then to say, hey, get up. I'm
Yeah.
like, sir, what are you talking to?
Yeah, they give us IDs, so
And so that's the same thing too, because like I'm looking at court officer in my head is like a police officer. He has a gun. He has this. So I'm
No,
here.
not fam.
I'm here to step
but that's how
out.
they look to our clients. They
Yeah,
look
that's
like
how.
that.
But that's how it felt to me at the time. Like step out. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna get like something gonna happen to me right now?
Yeah,
Right.
they gonna
You know?
yoke you up, you
Right.
know? You don't know, you know? You remember your first experience? in
Well,
the
you know,
courtroom?
my first experience actually was just before I became an attorney, and it was up in Buffalo, New York. I told you a few minutes ago, I actually interned for the Attorney General, and I was there for quite some time. During that time, I met quite a few court personnel, you know, certainly a lot of the court officers, because I was going back and forth across the street to the court and to the AG's office. And in my third year, we were taking trial technique. And the trial technique culminated in you actually putting on a trial in a courtroom downtown Buffalo. And you're assigned to a judge, okay? And what happened was, this was the day we were supposed to go and meet with this judge, okay? This particular judge sat over quite a few criminal cases. And in fact, she was known for handing out some pretty rough sentences, okay? That being said, a friend of mine, one of my posse from New York City, were in the same class, and we went to the courtroom that evening, because it was in the evening when you did it after court for the trial technique. And we walked in, and we watched this judge jump up from the bench and run to the phone. Now, most of the other students were in there, one or two came in behind us, but we were the only two men of color who walked in. And it was an abrupt move, but I noticed it. I guess I noticed abrupt moves.
That's crazy.
And,
That's
and
what
we
do.
went in, and, and we're getting ready to have a seat. And she's standing by the phone after she hung it up, and we sat down, and lo and behold, what busted through the door was about 4 court officers. And they came in. Now, mind you, me and my colleague knew them, because we're back and forth.
Right.
So they're coming in looking for what she looking for. And we watched the motion and pointed at us. And they looked at us. And I'm like, they said, what's going on? I said, I don't know. We just got here. So they looked at the judge and like, what are you doing? She says, well, who are they? They're students.
Students.
You know, we
The
can
court
speak.
officers told them.
Right.
Yeah, you know, did you ask
Did you
us?
ask?
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know who you were. And the funny thing at that time, I'll have to say we were in the third year. And while we had a history in Buffalo, the majority of students finally began to get us. They understood we could actually speak, talk. We were actually smart. We could get things done.
Right.
So we had actually changed some of them who actually apologized on behalf of the judge. They didn't have to. The judge should apologize, but she never did. But that was, which I'm sure very fits into what you all have dealt with.
Yeah.
Now, there have been others, but I think that actually is the one that stands out the most in my mind. That this judge, because she saw 2 men of color come in, could not in any way, and we're dressed like students, and we're carrying books, okay? To her, you're defendants.
But she can't reconcile in her head that 2 men of color are actually in law school
Exactly.
and trying to do better.
And it was very clear the level of bias, because during that whole time, she couldn't really talk to us. You know, she
I
was
mean,
like,
I would have been
you-
uncomfortable if I would have did that.
But again, that's on her. But that was the most that stands out in my mind to this day.
Still happening in 2020.